Hi everyone, my name is Kwame, and this video is basically to show you guys what I've been doing with AI. Let me just put the caveat out there that I'm not a production specialist, I'm not a tech specialist, I'm just someone who spends over a decade working in the traditional oil and gas industry. Then I got into working with audit and data, and I like that, so I put my career on hold. Came to the UK to pursue masters in business analytics, and I really love it. And I'm doing a lot of projects with it. And now with the advent of AI, there are lots of stuff that we can do. There are lots of stuff that I'm doing, which I feel are pretty impressive. But then again, maybe it's just in my little room over here. So part of the things I want to do this year is to be able to sort of put myself out there and maybe show what I've done. Hopefully, I get to meet people who share similar passion. Hopefully, we can get to collaborate more on different projects and we all learn together. So that's basically what I'm trying to do here. Again, please, I'm not a production specialist. This is actually the first thing I've ever done that I'm going to post online. So please, I welcome all your advice, how I can improve upon my delivery, and everything else is welcome, please. Thank you. So as you can see on my screen, um, this my screen basically shows it's a Jupyter console, shows you what I've built. Like I said, because of my background, um, the major project that I've focused on is trying to build a system that can basically handle fuel station operations in Ghana because that's where my domain expertise lie, and I believe that cuts across and transcends even above Ghana, especially into Africa because our economies are a bit more cash, and we've not gotten to a place as a continent where we can automate any and everything. Unlike here, where most of these things are automated, POS systems and whatnot, but we still live in a largely cash society, and so we a lot of things that are done are still very much manual. But even in that manual process, we can present technology to make things more streamlined, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I'll just give you a brief overview of what I've done. As you can see on the left side, it shows you the various codes. It's not as simple as it looks. There are a bunch of codes in there. So this is my admin code. It shows you a bunch of PY files. Or maybe it's better to start with the actual implementation. Then I show you the code base. Let me see if I can switch here. Give me a minute, please. Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to get my YouTube on, so please forgive me. So yeah, so this is basically what I've done so far, and I run this with my Python console. It's a local file on my local server. Maybe in later part I'll do a video to be able to show you guys a simple like video of how I started it all, how I brought it all together, and how I've been able to develop a plan as to how to execute this so that you can also begin to build something or help me improve. So basically, when I launch the Python, it brings me to this interface, and I've created a bunch of logins from this interface that can take you to different parts of the program. So, for example, a typical fuel station, maybe they have their login and they log in. It takes them here. Um, whoa. Calm down, calm down. I think I turned it off. Yeah, so this is it. So with the Python, I basically turn it on here. Python console.py. This is how I start the program usually. I'm the wrong file. This is embarrassing. I think it's here. Python console.py. Um, should start. Please, I can't start this video again. There you go. So like once I have that started, when I have a bookmark here of the local server, once I click that, it brings me here. Now, like I said, I've created profiles. So when I click a profile for Station Manager, that will take me here. And anyone who has a little bit of knowledge in the industry will know that what this is about. So basically, the main functionality lies here. The personal info has personal details. Let me just also put that out there that I've been able to launched it with two filling stations who are currently using it. They've been using it for the past 3 months, and it's based on their feedback that I continue to make improvement. And so, some things I can't show you because, for example, the personal information. If I go in there, you see details of people, and that has a whole lot of implications when it comes to data governance issues. So, sorry about that. So I can't show you that part, but largely what I will show you in terms of the figures, I've tried as much as possible to anonymize the figures as well, so that it can't be that I'm displaying some company's actual details, but you will find some names in there which are actual names. I've spoken to the companies involved, and they don't have any objection with me doing this video, but I can't turn out the figures. That one I didn't even need to ask them. I know I can't do that. So I anonymize the numbers. The numbers are fictitious, but the names, some of it may be actual names or actual companies. Right. So you go in here. Typical fuel station, maybe a discharge comes through, you enter discharge, you enter all the related details, including the pump numbers, you can add meter readings, add more as you want. Once you do that, it does behind the scene calculation to show you whether or not there is a surplus or shortage associated with the discharge that was brought to the station. Save that and you commit it. Once you commit, it goes to the database. Then along the line, maybe if you want to view discharges that have come through to the station, you can search by either invoice number, vehicle number, period number. Let's say you want to search period, maybe said you've been using it for the last 3 months, or maybe in November. November shows you all the cars that have come to the station to deliver fuel, and for every car, it shows you all the invoices related to that car. Right? It shows you all the invoices related to that car. Surely there must be one that has more. Yeah. So this one, like all the invoices, all the discharges that that particular car has brought to the station. When you select it, then it shows you the various records and whether or not there was a surplus with that discharge or there was a shortage with that discharge. So this is very good for record keeping, because in the industry you find that a lot of these calculations are done manually. So it's difficult to trace, but with this, it's a one-stop system that has everything. So that's how my approach to developing this has been, trying to solve real problems. And my domain expertise, having worked in that industry for over 10 years, is proving to be very helpful. And another part of it is expenses, which is pretty much straightforward. You add expenses, what it is, you select a category, you put your description there, you put your amount there, you save, and you commit. It goes to the database. Then you have credits. These are people who take fuel from the station on credit. You select a creditor. Let me choose a simple creditor for you. Maybe that. Apply. Again, the Quaba, that those have anonymized the data. So these are just anonymized data. It shows you the current balance of that creditor. It shows you, it lists all the fuel that they took within that period. Maybe they've taken one today, so you want to add more, add line, select a description. If there is, you add an amount, then you save. Then you can commit to the database, right? Similarly, if the creditor decides to pay, come to pay, select maybe creditor, you apply, it shows you all that they've paid, the current balance in terms of payments. No, this is actual balance. This is their balance, not the current balance of payments. Actual balance, that's what they've taken minus what they've paid. Balance, and this data shows you what they've paid. And once you add the line here, select a mode of payments, whether cash, bank transfer, Momo credit note. Save that, then you commit, it goes to the database. Then here you have transfer. This is one I recently added based off of feedback. There are situations where sometimes they do what you call credit balance transfers. Maybe debits this creditor, credit this creditor, you know. So basically that's that, just that from one creditor to another, you apply, then you just put the amount there. Right, so that's this part, and this is perhaps the main important part. So here is where you do your like daily closing. Every filling station closes every single day to be able to determine how much fuel they've sold. You come to add meter, it fetches the previous data for you. Then you enter the figures. Maybe let me just use really random figures here. You enter the figures there. Maybe you select attendant, you save PMS2, you enter the figures. Sorry. Again, the figures will be horrible, but they're just random things I'm trying to do to be able to just demonstrate how it works. Then maybe once you come to add tank, it fetches any discharges that you might have added. It fetches it automatically and it places it here. Because I've not added anything, that's why the add discharge shows up. Then maybe you have 800 here. Then for Argo, maybe it's 890, just random figures. So once you enter all that, you commit readings, then the calculations comes to this side. So for every attendant, you know how much you're expecting from them. If there are any expenses that the attendant has done, you enter it here, like that. Save and commit just like the other ones. If there's any additional expenses, Momo, POS, RTT, these are all technical terms within the industry that anybody with knowledge within the industry understands. You save and commit. Then same. So after that, once you do all the computation, it shows you what you're expecting from each attendant, how much they give you, and the difference, right? Sorry if I'm talking really fast. I'm trying to get over my nervousness in my first video. So by the time you do all of that, you have the total amount that you've received. Then these are what you call bulk expenses. After you've received these amounts, if there's any particular expenditure that you need to do with the bulk amount, you put those ones here. Then it factors into what you actually take to the bank, which is the banked. Again, these are really technical within the industry, so I don't really want to bore you with that, but I just want to demonstrate to you what I've done. So once you do that, then you commit closing record. Once you do that, it goes to the database, right? So let me just reset it back to square. Then we have the view closing record here. So this shows you every single day, every single closing. So like I said, they've been using this for the past 3 months, but the offline data that I'm currently working on is just up to December. So I believe that if I go to say, maybe November 20th, you will see a record there. Once you confirm, it shows you the closing for that record, all the details that you need to see. When you double click, it shows you the actual meter readings and everything that you need to see. Right. So all of that feeds into the report bit. Report shows you what you want. Whenever you click a metric, it shows you for that prevailing month. Like I said, the offline data is up to December, so it won't show anything for this month. However, you can search maybe October. Are you using it in October? Yes, it shows you the price progressions for October. And anybody who is in Ghana will attest to the fact that these are the price projections for October. The petrol and diesel, how it went in the month of October. You see the sales, it shows you that volume, it shows you the trend with the summary on the right side, as you can see. Sorry, everybody within the industry knows what these are. Expenses, I can show you that these are anonymized data, so it's fine. I can't show you attendance sales because it contains some data, real data, so I can't show you that. The figures are anonymous, but the names might be, so I can't show you that. Then the discharges, then the credits, then, well, these are the credits, but again, the figures are anonymized, so it's fine. And these are tables that will in the future feed into Excel systems back in head office that people can do their work with. Like I said, every metric that you click shows you the prevailing month. So if you want to see maybe an actual metric, maybe let's select November, you see the tables here that you can work with. You know, everything's there. Right. So this is what I've done so far with respect to the station console. Then I showed you the admin. I've showed you the station console. Now, let me also show you what I'm doing with regards to Office. Office maybe collating data and trying to do some analysis with it. When you enter there, this is where you see I'll work on the dashboard in the future. You have ledgers here. You can select a ledger and load it. Oh, my system froze. Yeah. Once you select a ledger and load it, it shows you the ledger, right? You can go back, payments here. You can add payments. Once you select payments, it shows you the last payment and you can add more payments. I will do this functionality a bit more later. I've not done that. These are confirm payments. It helps you to confirm payments that were made at the station with what has come through from the bank. That's it all automatically. Then I'm also working on the audit bit, which has a bit of functionality. You can see the previous audit here. When I go in there, you see the details of everything that you need to see. Again, people with domain knowledge really understand this. Then when you come to audit, you can actually run an audit, and basically all you have to do is just actually take stocks at the station, or you use the latest stocks to factor in, do some calculations and all. All of these things, for example, when you're doing an audit in a filling station, it can take you hours. But with this, it can reduce it to just about 20 minutes, where you just have to do a physical inspection of the stocks and other invoices that need to be physically present. But all the calculations can be done for you, as you can see, in a matter of seconds. All right. So I think that's about it. I'm also working on the report section. I've not done that yet. Then finally, I'm also working on the dashboard for the director or somebody higher up. I think I have their login somewhere. So when you log in like this, it shows you that. So this is like all stations, sales, variance. These are fictitious. I'll take them away. I'll decide what to put here. But when you come in here, it shows you the what I just showed you about the reports. But being the director, you have the opportunity to actually change station and choose what you want to view. Right. So I think that's about it. That's about all that I have done now. But this process has taken me over 6 months. And if we're being fair, it's actually taken me about a year. I started this thing immediately when I got into this country. I started it immediately when I got into this country because it's something that was dear to me that I wanted to do. And I've been at it for over a year, but I really got into it in August. That was when I was rounding up my dissertation, and my dissertation helped a lot. It helped me gain a lot of like technical knowledge. So I realized that no, I could actually do this. So immediately I finished my dissertation in August. I focused like hands-on this. I can work at this for days, and I guess it doesn't feel like work because, like they say, if you enjoy it, you don't really feel it. I can sit here for days, hours on end trying to do this, and I love it. I love it. So now let me just show you the code base. So you have a admin. This is what I showed you earlier. All the codes, endless Python files that does all these computations. The station console that I showed you, I put them in the station here. These are all codes, wild long codes that do so many incredible things. Wild code that do so many incredible things, so many incredible things. Wild code that do so many incredible things. And again, not to toot my own horn, but I'm really proud of what I've done. Seeing, how when it's like, how when you picture something in your head, you envisage it's going to be, then if you're actually able to turn it out and you see what you saw in your head, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling. So these are all the codes for the station. Then the office template that I showed you, these are the relevant codes, audit, ledgers, payments. As you can see there, I try as much as possible to also group them so that I know where everything is. So that if I need to make changes, I know exactly where to go. Yeah, so this is basically it. One thing I would say though is that in this advent of AI, you don't need to necessarily be a quote unquote a technical expert. I believe the most important thing is to have your like the expertise, or you have a solid ground and a solid understanding of exactly what you want. Because at the end of the day, the AI is basically a computer, garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you ask it, that's what it will give you. So it helps if you know exactly what you want, so that what it gives you, if it's not what you want, you can work your way around it, trying to tailor it to what you want. Because there's been situations where I give it a prompt, it gives me a code, a working code, but it's not what I want. Sometimes it gives a code that doesn't work, so I have to go through the code manually and try to understand it, see what it's doing, and see where I can change. If I don't understand it, I copy that line. I'm like, yo, what's this doing? It explains, and I'm like, no, I didn't ask you to do that. Do this, do that, do that. With regards to AI, I've predominantly used ChatGPT and Grok. I can't choose one over the other. I've used them in equal measure. What I would say is that for me, in my experience, all of them have their strengths. For example, ChatGPT is extremely good when it comes to designing like interfaces. If you want a very expressive and deep, like enterprise looking interface, ChatGPT is excellent. If you want a minimalistic view, ChatGPT is excellent. Grok is not too good with designing interfaces. Where Grok excels is when it comes to long codes, like really long codes. I've had situations where I try to write really long codes with ChatGPT and it constantly breaks. But really long code, you feed it to Grok, it spits it out in seconds. So yeah, all of them have their place. There have also been unique situations where both of them can solve a problem. And I remember this particular thing, functionality that I was trying to introduce. Both of them couldn't do it, but in the end, ChatGPT was able to start to do a certain part of it, but I couldn't finish it. So what I did was, once it did that, I copied that and I took it to Grok. And I told you that this is what your mate. I remember adding that to the prompt. That this is what your mate ChatGPT has done. Can you finish it? Then he finished it. Right. So I feel like in my experience, I don't know what other people's experience are, but for me, in my experience, it's a complementary feature, and I can't do away with both of them. Before I go, I'll just quickly show you some of the just interfaces of this. So this is a typical like Grok session I had. You see a whole bunch of code, a whole bunch of prompts, a whole bunch of code, a whole bunch of prompts. Similarly with ChatGPT, this is a similar session I had with it. A whole bunch of code, a whole bunch of prompts. So you will find that I think this is even an HTML file. Yeah. So you will find that I use ChatGPT a lot for my HTMLs because, like I said, it's extremely good when it comes to designing interfaces. So I use that a lot for my HTMLs. But then again, all of them complement each other. So I'm constantly using both of them all the time. Yeah, so this is my first video, 1st January 2026. I hope I did well. Let me know what you think about the video. If there is anything you can share, please, I welcome it. Like I said, I'm no expert. I'm trying to learn just as anybody here. And I'm looking to collaborate by putting myself out there. So anybody has anything they can offer, any advice, anything at all, I welcome that. Thank you.